Thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner here on YouTube. And don't forget to leave us a like and a comment.
And you can share with a friend if you enjoy it, and subscribe so you're notified of new videos.
Thanks and enjoy the show. This week, Today's Homeowner is on the road in South Carolina to transform a lucky homeowner's landscape into a backyard paradise.
Come out.
Each year, we work with our friends at Pavestone to sponsor a contest to create a backyard paradise for one lucky homeowner. This year, that winner is Carissa Scarpa of Beaufort, South Carolina.
I saw this link for a contest for this show, and I thought, that is literally our current dream. And when he came home from work that day, I was like, I entered a contest today. Don't worry, because we won't win it. And then we bought a gazebo because we found it on sale, and we thought, we're not going to win our backyard. We're not going to be able to afford to do our backyard.
That was sort of our fix of how we could do something, at least improve the space and start using it.
And then I got a call from Danny. And Danny said, I just wanted to tell you congratulations because you were selected as the winner. And I teared up with the most excitement, and I just started picturing our wedding that's coming up in October. We could do a reception in our backyard now rather than have to worry about renting a venue. And that's all because of that one phone call. So it was the best.
Matt's a pilot in the Marine Corps, so he's been stationed all over the U.S. as well as overseas.
Finally, we get the chance to be together, so we wanted everything to be as perfect as we could. And then when we found this house, it just felt like ours.
And this place, this is a huge and important place to us because it was our first home. It's our first everything together. We get to be together.
So our good friend Andy Morton from Pavestone checked out the yard to start creating a design. We've worked with Andy several times, and he always comes through with a great design and a plan to get all the work done.
Really what they had in mind is going out in the yard, which I love the idea. Get it out away from the house. We're gonna have a little winding pathway going out to this area. They've got a great backyard. What they just didn't have was any place to sit out there or do anything.
Now that the plan is complete, it's time to share it with Carissa.
Here's our yard. It's not very much to see.
Well, there's a lot of potential I see out here.
Yeah, well, there's a lot that we want to do with it, but it's right now just flat, and we like to have people over, and we tell them, nothing to see out here. Let's come back inside.
Andy, when he was out, he saw a lot of potential. Saw a lot of things that he could do. I know that you wanted to incorporate the gazebo into the design.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, I know you haven't seen this yet.
I haven't.
Okay, this is what we call a flyover.
It's beautiful.
Okay, check this out. Okay. Hang on
Whoa.
there. See, you got a fire pit, you got the benches, you've got a grill, the pavers that'll lead everything right up to here. Now, won't that look a little bit different than what you have right now?
That will be stunning.
So if this looks good to you, we'll pull the trigger and we can get started on this thing right away.
Let's do it.
All right, sounds great.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
In no time, the materials arrive, but before we start digging, we turn on the sprinklers to find all the lines. Now we start laying out the patio. The wider area at the back allows room for the grill and the fire pit on either side. While in front, planting beds will fill the two recesses, and a gently curved pathway connects it all to the house. To remove the grass, we've rented a sod cutter, and it has Carissa intrigued. That's actually cutting under this and completely saving all of that.
So it lifts up.
Yeah. So intrigued, she has to give it a try herself.
And stop.
There you go. That's fun, huh?
Yeah.
We continue in a crisscross pattern so the sod can be lifted out in manageable pieces. We also found this manual sod lifter from Ames that does the same thing but on a slightly smaller scale. The narrow curved handle lets you get under the grass to cut the roots and lift up each piece. To move out the dirt, we've rented a skid steer tractor.
Alan was real quick to jump in the operator's seat there. I kind of thought the way he went for the machine that he must have been a really experienced operator or something.
Anytime that Alan gets a chance to sit down,
I'll be very honest with you. Never driven one in my life.
We got it done. We got the dirt dug out of the hole. It saved our back, so I'm not going to complain.
But I had to be the one driving that skid steer, and I got it.
with the bulk of the dirt removed, we can use shovels to fine-tune the grade to the proper depth.
So what we'll do is we'll set string lines, go across the patio, level them out, and then we'll measure down from that string line 8 inches, and that gives us the excavation that we need to get the proper base depth.
Let's face it, sooner or later, all garbage cans stink. No matter how many times you wash it out, some odors you just can't get rid of. Well, here's one solution. Before you put the trash in there, get a spray bottle and fill it with ammonia. Just pour the ammonia in straight, you don't have to dilute it first, and spray the bottom of the can and then all around the sides of the can. That will not only disinfect the can and kill odors, but it has a second, even more important trait in that it'll keep critters out. The smell of ammonia will keep away raccoons, squirrels, even most neighborhood dogs. And once you put the trash in, here's another tip that's really important, is take the ammonia and spray the outside of the can. And again, the whole idea is to use that ammonia smell to deter critters. They won't get back into your trash.
Carissa and Matt are getting a backyard makeover as their grand prize for winning our Pavestone Backyard Paradise contest.
I just love an enthusiastic homeowner like this. I mean, she won a contest. She wouldn't have to do anything to get this project complete, but she wanted to make sure she had a chance to do a little bit of everything we're doing. Right now, she's using the plate compactor to compact all of the dirt.
Once the soil is compacted, Andy gives it a quick screed with a straight 2x4 before we begin moving in the base material.
How many inches are we putting down to this anyway?
We're gonna have 3 inches of base, inch of sand on top of that.
Well, Andy, you know what they say? It's all about the base. It's all about the base. It's all about the base, no pebbles. No pebbles.
How far do you think we're gonna get today, Andy?
We'll just want to do the paver base because they're calling for a chance of rain. We lay that sand down, it gets rained on, it'll be all messed up. So
Well, it's gonna rain,
It's going to.
because it rains every time you're with us.
Once the base is spread out evenly, we run the compactor over it too. As we wrap up packing all of the base, Matt returns home from work to check out the progress.
So this is what they've done so far. So
You guys have been busy.
everyone's been hard at work, and I got to help.
Oh, it's huge though. This is amazing.
Isn't it beautiful? Everybody was working so hard
Look,
this
I
whole
love
day.
the way it curves like that too.
I know. It's perfect.
Not a bad way to end the first day, but day 2 starts a little wetter than we had hoped.
Andy, it looks like it's happened again.
it's typical rain.
What is it with you? Because, I mean, we've done this project like this 3 years in a row.
I really don't know.
Every year,
Every single
you bring
time.
the rain.
Every single time.
Well, I see that we're not using the skid steer, obviously.
No, that's right. We decided it's a little wet for that, so we're going to have to do it all by wheelbarrow today.
So you're saying get to work? Is that what it is?
I think that's what I was trying to say.
All right, well, we might as well catch it before it rains here.
So the wheelbarrows begin rolling and the bags of sand start getting dumped.
Andy? Yes, sir? You see what's happening here again, don't you? We're working, he's talking.
Typical.
All right, let's get going here. Let's get going here, y'all. Y'all need to quit dragging around. You want some knee pads, Andy?
Oh no, knee pads are for sissies.
There you go. This is just the most ingenious method by using some conduit, metal conduit. You're putting the sand in place and you use a straight 2x4 as what's called a screed, or basically you're leveling it off.
We try to get the base as close as we can. It's usually plus or minus ½ an inch, but with the screed rails and the sand, it eliminates all of that and gives you a perfectly level base to lay your pavers into.
Meanwhile, the other guys from Andy's crew are getting the forms ready to pour our concrete countertops for the grill and the coffee table. Back in the yard, the metal conduit gets moved further down and the voids they leave behind are filled and smoothed out with a trowel. This process continues across the patio, but now at last, we're ready to lay some pavers.
We've been working, for a day and a half, getting the base in, all that stuff. None of that's gonna be seen. The exciting part's when the pavers go down, and it's really fun to get the homeowners involved. All right, here we go, Carissa. The big moment, the ceremonial first paver.
All right.
The honor is gonna be all yours. So just lay that in there. The trick here, when you're putting these in, you wanna just set it straight down into the sand gently. Don't want to rock it or anything. Perfect.
Woohoo!
The next one here is gonna be a cut one to get you a little bit of a staggered pattern going. So just like that, touch the stone to stone, push it down in there, good job. We're gonna do a serpentine here. So each stone's gonna be cheated just a little bit to give us that kind of S pattern.
And I laid the first paver.
That's right. So that never gets old, that's always fun.
As Alan extends one edge to follow the curve of the walkway, Carissa continues filling in behind him.
Before you know it, you look behind you and you see so much of the stuff that looks so good, you just want to keep doing it.
Our yard is actually going from grass and dirt into something really gorgeous, and it doesn't seem as intimidating or difficult as it did before. So I feel motivated, and I just want to keep doing some more.
When we get to the end of the walkway, the pattern changes as we begin filling in the patio area.
The product we're using on this is the Rumblestone Plank. It's 3.5 inches thick. It's a real heavy-duty product. In this application, it's actually going to work well for us because it's going to help us get the patio up off the ground a little bit and deal with those low-lying issues, so we shouldn't have any water on this patio.
Now this is the part of a paver patio that gets just a little monotonous. You're just putting in one paver after the next. What makes this particular patio a little different is that we're using a herringbone pattern for the majority of the patio surface. And that adds a lot of interest to it. And tell you what, a couple more hours, this thing's gonna be done.
Now, whether you're a weekend warrior or a seasoned contractor, your tools are your investment. So you want to make sure they're good and protected. So you need a good storage box. Well, Husky's got the mobile job box, and this is a good example of what can protect your tools. Now, on the outside, let me show you some features. It's got 8-inch all-terrain wheels, so this thing can go wherever you need to go. It also has 2 padlock slots, so you can make sure all your tools are nice and secure. When you open it up, look at all the storage space that you have here. This is just under 3.5 cubic feet of storage space. Plus, you also have this bin here, so it's perfect for hand tools and also your power tools. Up here on the lid, it's got a gasket that goes all the way around, so this is a nice seal against water and also dust. Right here is a slot so that if you do need to charge your power tools, you put the extension cord right through here, plug it in, lock it down, your tools are charging, and they're nice and safe every time.
In just under 2 days of work, we've managed to excavate and lay all of Carissa and Matt's new patio. Now we're ready to begin spreading the sand on top of the new pavers.
Boy, what great timing. Hey, don't you think?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. You know, because right now the patio paver's completely installed, and what we would normally do is just what we're doing right now, putting the sand in, sweeping it in, and then wetting it down with a water hose so that it filters down in between all of the pavers. But it looks like Mother Nature's going to take care of that for us.
Early the next morning, there's a few laps with a plate compactor to settle the sand into the patio before we begin adding the amenities that will really make it a paradise for this couple. The ground is drier today, so we're using the tractor to move the heavy blocks, but this time there's a new driver.
I still have the keys to the Bobcat, so I'm thinking I should probably have it for a little longer because now that I know how to work it, I might as well use it.
With the blocks in place, it's time to start building.
So we're getting ready to do your barbecue grill. And so what we have here, we have some step-by-step instructions. You can see the blocks are color-coded to show you the different shapes and how they go into place.
Yeah, so when our friends come to visit, they're gonna love it. And they're gonna say, can I have one too?
How can I do it?
And
Yes.
unless Andy's gonna come make one for them, they're gonna wanna know how to figure out how to build it on their own.
Yeah, that's the good thing about it. These directions are available online, so you can just go purchase the product, start building it together, on your own. Matt, this one here that's a corner, so it goes right in there just like that. And now you're gonna have a small one goes right beside it. Having Matt here on the set, it's been few and far between. He's had some obligations, but he jumped right into it. He saw the directions, the color coding. It really clicked with him real quickly.
When the first course is complete, they use a straight edge to even out each row, then begin stacking the higher courses.
I don't know who it is that designs these things, but they're brilliant. To see all of the different variations of the blocks in there, nothing that's the same. It's all, and it looks random, but it's not.
On the other side of the patio, Ty and Ted are working on the corner bench that will provide seating around the fire pit. As Andy and Alan stack the last couple of rows on the grill, they check the level and test fit the grill insert before they apply adhesive to lock the stones in place.
Well, we're leaving a little bit of sand on the surface of the walkway as well as the patio because with all of this activity taking place, we want to encourage that sand to be pushed down between the pavers to lock it all in place. Now, you're talking about a lot of activity because we have the grill going on this side. We have benches over here. We're going to have a little fire pit and a table right in the middle. And you may also notice a little time-lapse camera right here. We're actually going to have on our website a step-by-step of everything that we're doing
doing in this part of the project. Hey, we did a lot in the last couple days. We've got a long way to go. Both the bench and the fire pit utilize a similar color-coded plan to make assembly easy enough for a novice. In fact, it's so easy, Andy's letting me help put together the coffee table that comes next.
But the 6-piece system that we're working with here does give you a lot more variation in the faces, the way it mixes together.
Looking at that right there is just awesome. Wrapping up the table completes all of the block work so we can begin landscaping and planting the flowers Carissa has chosen for the accent beds. Plus, we can move in that gazebo they bought before they even knew they were getting a patio. With the landscaping in place, it's time to add the sleek solar-powered landscape lights we selected earlier from lampsplus.com. The only advice I would say is I see a lot of people will put one here and one there. It looks just like a runway, so we don't want that.
Not a runway.
So what would you like?
We can stagger them. And all I could think of is we're going to have a wedding reception back there, and that is going to be the perfect setting because it's just enough light for people to be able to see and not too much to where it's overwhelming. And it's just so romantic. It opens up our yard and makes it feel larger at night because prior you couldn't even tell where the yard ended.
Finally, we're ready to break the concrete countertops out of the forms and set them in place on the grill and coffee table. After a little leveling the slabs and smoothing off the edges, we'll be ready for a party. People who want to use concrete in their landscaping often ask how they can change the color of the concrete. If the concrete has already been poured, your best option is applying a stain to the surface. You'll want to clean the surface well and let it dry thoroughly before you do this. Concrete stains come in solid or semi-transparent colors. Applying them is much like painting, but because concrete is so porous, once it goes on, you just can't wipe it off. So be sure you like the color. If you're pouring new concrete, you can add a color tint or dye directly into the mix. This ensures that the color goes all the way through whatever you're creating, so even if it's scratched or chipped, the color doesn't change. If you're mixing multiple batches, it's important that you mix the color identically in every one so that the finished project will have a consistent color throughout. Carissa and Matt had a nice-sized backyard with a pretty decent lawn. They bought a standalone gazebo to try to create some outdoor living space because otherwise all they had was a small covered patio right outside their back door. That was before Carissa won our Pavestone Backyard Paradise contest. Now they have a spacious 400 square foot paver patio in the middle of that space. A winding serpentine path of pavers connects it to the house, and their gazebo adds just the right amount of softness and shade to the patio. Beneath it, a coffee table made of stone and concrete will be the hub for conversation, with curved planting beds flanking it on either side. In one corner, a custom gas-grilled enclosure will guarantee that guests are well fed, while the opposite corner boasts spacious bench seating and a stone fire pit to chase away the chill on those cool evenings. In fact, Matt and Carissa like it so much, they're putting on a party for the crew and some of their neighborhood friends.
But as a homeowner, watching our backyard develop from just grass and dirt, which was not very appealing and certainly not usable space, to now being able to go out there and use that space after a couple of days of good hard work, it makes us want to do more.
The homeowners, they love it, and that's really the payoff.
And I'm pretty sure we're going to have a pretty amazing party for our wedding in a few months right outside. And now we can.
And getting to see her drive that Bobcat was pretty cool too.
It's stunningly beautiful, and I know that I put my hand on those pavers and I helped, and I moved the dirt and I moved the sod, and I got to work with some of that machinery because I was part of it. And so working with everybody has been great. So the whole thing is my favorite. I love the color in the garden bed. I love the fire pit. I love everything about the way it looks, but also the way it feels when you sit there. It just feels like home. It's amazing.
Brings a new meaning to staycation. We don't ever need to go anywhere again. We can just stay here.
Ever again?
Well, for a while.
I'm out.
Man, we really had a great week here in South Carolina, and I'm so happy to meet and work with Carissa and Matt. I'm so glad they won the contest, and they're really glad they got a fantastic looking backyard. Fairly large project, but still very do-it-yourself friendly. You can do it just a little at a time, and with what we've been able to share with Carissa and Matt, they'll be able to continue improving all of their outside area. Hey, I hope you were able to pick up a few things you can use on your own backyard, and thanks so much for being with us here on today's Homeowner. I'm Danny Lipford. See you next week. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner. And don't forget to comment, like, and hit the bell icon so that we can notify you when new videos are posted.
And don't go anywhere, click around and continue the home improving fun.